Afternoon, Keith.
Alex, how are you?
I'm alright. Keith Coughlan, MD, European Metals Limited, ticker EMH. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself so the viewers know, please?
Sure, Alex. Well, I chatted with you 4 or 5 weeks ago. There's been a few updates since then. But so for those who didn't hear that presentation, so European Metals owns the Cinovec Lithium and Tin project in the Czech Republic. It's the largest lithium project, lithium resource in Europe, and about the 4th largest non-brine lithium resource in the world. So it's a globally significant asset. It sits beautifully in the middle of Europe. It's globally significant from our perspective, firstly because of the size of the resource, secondly because it would appear that it's going to be a very low-cost producer of lithium carbonate, and thirdly simply because of where it is located in the Czech Republic in the middle of Europe. It's surrounded, as I'll show you shortly on a map, surrounded by a lot of activity in the electric vehicle and lithium-ion battery space.
It seems to be the buzzword right now, lithium.
It is.
It's everywhere. You look across the news everywhere. Like it's just cars, and it just really is the buzzword.
Well, you're right. I mean, the lithium market has been getting interesting for a good 12 months now, and I believe it got to the stage perhaps a month or two ago where the general market was starting to believe that electric vehicles are coming at some stage in the future. And that all changed, I think, 2 weeks ago, or not quite 2 weeks ago, when Tesla announced the pre-sale results for their new Model 3. And they announced that they had pre-sold 198,000 vehicles in the first 24 hours after the launch.
Great.
Yeah. And that was with a $1,000 deposit per car. So the company banked nearly $200 million in 24 hours in deposits. And bearing in mind, these are cars that won't be manufactured until late 2017. So most of those people won't get their cars for 2 years from now. And yet the numbers are astounding, and that number's only increased from now. So I think that changed the game plan for electric vehicles globally. I think people went from thinking this is something that is going to happen at some stage in the future to thinking this is actually happening now. And we've seen an enormous increase in the activity in the space in the last 3 or 4 months. And as I say, from our point of view, it's very important that we've seen that activity increasing in Europe around where our project is. To put the Tesla announcement in context, 198,000 vehicles in the first 24 hours, they only manufactured 52,000 vehicles for all of 2015. So it's nearly 4 times their total production of cars for 2015 they took pre-orders for in 24 hours. The take-up of electric vehicles, I think, has surprised most people, and that goes directly towards the lithium industry and supply of lithium. All these people who are going to manufacture electric vehicles or manufacture batteries for electric vehicles or for storage systems for renewable energy need to access lithium.
Well, when we spoke the last time, I must admit I took my eye off the ball slightly, as you know. And you were around the 5p mark, and you've 200%. And I was watching Monday, yesterday.
Yes.
And you put it what we call a speeding ticket out.
That's right.
So can you explain to the viewers what's been happening since I missed that?
Okay, so that Tesla announcement that I just explained has changed. It's changed the base level for all lithium companies, I believe, and particularly junior companies, because it's made the world realise that the demand is going to be there, and it's going to be there at a high level for some time now. So yes, when I was here 5 or 6 weeks ago, we were trading around that 5p mark, maybe 6p. We were languishing, there wasn't much going on, and I was getting quite frustrated that we couldn't attract the sort of attention that I was trying to attract. I believed, and still do, that we're undervalued, and I'll explain that a little shortly. But the 2 things have happened. Firstly, there's been this macro development on what is happening in the lithium space, as illustrated by Tesla. But Tesla, for the great successes they've had, are actually a very, very small player globally in the automotive industry. You know, I mentioned earlier, Tesla manufactured 52,000 cars.
Exactly, yeah, the capacity, yeah, full capacity.
Yeah. Volkswagen, on the other hand, I don't know their numbers for last year, but the previous year, Volkswagen manufactured 9.5 million cars. So last year, you would presume it was a little more than that. And Volkswagen are an interesting example because obviously the problems they had last year with the emissions scandal, they are looking very much towards electric vehicles to help them rebuild their global reputation as a globally responsible green citizen, corporate citizen of the world. So when someone like Volkswagen says they're going to build electric vehicles, you know, with the greatest respect to Tesla, it is a globally significant event. And you know, they're only one of a number of large automotive companies who have said this in the last 4 or 5 months.
Well, it's a game changer, really. When you compare the units, how many units these large car manufacturers can turn out, and then they will embrace the idea. Because the race will start then, won't it?
Yeah,
It will start. It started already, actually.
Well, the Tesla numbers are now so compelling in raw terms that people like Volkswagen and everyone else actually have to start building electric vehicles. And the interesting thing with a traditional automobile manufacturing company, in order to go and go in a big way into electric vehicles, they actually have to erode their own traditional industry. You know, they can't go and build all these electric vehicles and still construct the same number of petrol vehicles. That doesn't make sense. So they've been forced now to consider the possibility that they have to start building less of their traditional product and more of a new product in order to compete globally. And that's a real game changer.
It'll definitely be an interesting story to come that, actually. I live in the northeast of England and we have Nissan. And they're looking at the electric car situation and everything. They're
well,
quite
Nissan
active.
has had the Nissan Leaf for some time.
Yeah, they're very active in that market, and they're trying.
Exactly. But even, okay, so if I could show you this slide, I don't know how well this will work on your video, but we can upload it later. I can't actually see the screen, so I'm going a bit blind. So this is Europe, and obviously you can see the various countries involved. So if I hit the first key, we should get the Volkswagen logo to come in there, right? So I just talked about Volkswagen and their announcement just in February, 2 months ago, to go full-scale electric vehicle production. And they are looking to produce an electric vehicle, as they've stated, that is iconic as the Golf. So, you know, that's a big call. That's significant production. The second one there, I think, is Porsche. Just came up. So Porsche has announced a commitment to spend 1.1 billion euros on the development of their electric supercar. And if you go onto the Porsche website and have a look at some of the prototype photos, it's a pretty exciting vehicle. So this is a vehicle to rival the top end. It's a supercar, an electric supercar. $1.1 billion commitment to, 1.1 billion euro commitment to invest. The next one is Mercedes. So Mercedes announced in December, so that's only 4 months ago, their new E-Class, E for electric, E-Class vehicles, which they had already spoken about previously. In December, they announced that they're going to roll forward the schedule of that by 1 year. So they will deliver their first full electric vehicle rollout a year earlier than they had previously anticipated, and they've announced €2 billion investment in electric vehicles. Then you've got BMW, I think. So BMW were actually earlier to this than most. So they announced in September last year that all of their models, going forward, all of their models would be electric. So BMW have said that within 10 years, every car that they make will be electric. And that's an amazing statement from a company the size of
every car?
Every car that they make within 10 years will be electric.
So where are they going to get the resources from?
Well, hopefully they're going to get the lithium from us.
That's what I'm saying, but you, and also where you're positioned as well, obviously. You're on the border of Germany, basically.
Well, we're there. We're
Europe,
very close. So then just last month, has Daimler come up? Last month, Daimler announced that they'll spend 500 million euros on building an electric vehicle lithium-ion battery plant in Dresden, which out of interest is about 100 kilometres from our project. And they'll build batteries there for hybrids and EVs that'll be manufactured under the Mercedes badge. And they'll also produce batteries for power storage. So that's Daimler. And then if off the map, if we look at the UK, look at this country, you've had Aston Martin made an announcement in December along the same lines. Aston aren't a big manufacturer, but it's still part of the groundswell. So Aston are in JV with a Chinese partner to build an all-electric version of their Rapide supercar. And very recently, I don't know if you saw it, there was a leaked report from the UK government that Dyson, so James Dyson, you know, the
inventor,
that they're entering the electric vehicle market here in the UK with financial support from the UK government. Now that actually keeps in with the Elon Musk Tesla sort of plan of having a billionaire entrepreneur inventor type fellow running or heading up some of these companies. And the interesting thing with Dyson is they went and bought a lithium-ion battery technology company in California last year to enhance the life of their batteries in their domestic appliances. So if they can transfer that sort of technology through to the electric vehicle market, again, that's another game changer. And we're seeing all the way improvements in the batteries which allow for greater range and shorter charge times for these cars. And they're the two factors that the consumer is worried about. How far can you go on one charge?
Yeah, true.
And how quickly can I recharge it? And every quarter, those numbers are improving. Greater range, shorter charge times. And it gets to the stage where no one notices the difference in terms of convenience between having an EV or having a gasoline-driven vehicle or a diesel-driven vehicle. So they're the car manufacturers. Then I can look at, we've got who come up then, LG Chem. So LG Chem and Samsung, two of the largest battery manufacturers in South Korea, have both announced the construction of new lithium-ion battery factories in Europe. So you can see from that the LG Chem one is in Poland, at a town called Wrocław, which is again about 150 kilometres from our project, whereas Samsung are looking to develop a plant just out of Budapest, which was previously where they manufactured plasma display panels. And they've also, Samsung bought a company in Austria just last year that was a global manufacturer of battery packs. And then the last one I think is this company A123, that are a subsidiary of a big Chinese company called Wanqing, who are a very large automotive parts company out of China. And they're looking to build a lithium-ion battery plant in the town of Ostrava, which is in the Czech Republic, so not far from us again. And if I look, I'll show you where our project is in regards to that. We really couldn't be more central, okay?
You're bang in the middle, aren't you, really?
We're bang in the middle. So,
stable, and you're in the middle of Europe as well. Stable economy, everything.
So, for the last few years, Europe has been the second largest importer of lithium in the world, about 20% of the market. If you look at all of these factories, all of these initiatives and what they're likely to consume in lithium, that 20% number has to increase. So, is Europe going to be happy to continue to increase its import of lithium, or are they likely to want to buy it from within the EU? And, we think we're very well placed to take advantage of that.
Obviously, you can only talk about what's in the public domain, but are you in talks with anybody, you guys?
We are, but, I don't want to...
I understand.
No. What I was going to say is I don't want to play up too much on that, because we're a small company talking to very big companies.
Yeah.
And, those guys take a long time to make their decisions. We're going to go and talk to as many parties as we can.
Yeah.
Where we are operationally, we're looking to complete our PFS, our preliminary feasibility study, by the end of calendar 2016. I would like to have a significant partner alongside us by the time we conclude that, because it just assists us enormously in our negotiations going forward with permitting and getting bank finance, getting agreements with end users, offtake agreements, that sort of thing. So I'm spending a lot of time in that space, but it takes time.
That just leads me on. You hired a new contractor to work on your next phase of testing lithium extraction method. The main question, you've terminated your agreement with the Lithium Australian NL for the use of the LIMAX extraction technology, quote, unable to reach commercial acceptable terms. But what does that mean?
Well, we used the LIMAX technology just over 12 months ago to do the process work for our scoping study. And it worked very well at that stage. It worked well in a laboratory, at a laboratory level, laboratory testing, etc., etc. So we have no problem that the process can work, but it's a new process and therefore it needs a lot more work and a lot of testing at various stages. We couldn't come to an agreement on how we should go forward with Lithium Australia at this point in time on the development of that technology going forward. So it's best to stop diverting our attention for the time being. We're spending a lot of time and effort with Plan out of Germany, who are a very highly regarded company in this space, who are doing some very good work in the area, and whose technologies and processes that they use are considered more bankable, particularly within Europe, which is where we are likely to be looking to raise our banking finance when the time comes.
Okay, I've got a comment on this, where we're sat right now. I know Dave will love this, won't he, if he watches this. We're sat in REM's offices, Rare Earth Minerals offices right now.
We are.
Do they still hold 12%?
No, they now hold nearly 20%.
Well, I have got my eye off the ball.
Okay.
Great, we've got 20% now.
So since I last saw you, Alex, we did a funding, or not long after I was here, we did a funding. It was probably the first week of March, and we raised 15%, which is the number we can raise without shareholder approval. And REM increased their holding by virtue of that raising from 12 or 13% to 19.9% of the company. So they're now, they were our largest shareholder, but they're now...
Major shareholder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, we are seated in REM's offices. And as I reiterate, I'm pretty sure I said this to you when I last spoke, REM have been nothing but beneficial to us. They've been a very strong and supportive shareholder.
They did, yeah.
They've obviously been supportive financially, but they've also been supportive commercially and with their experiences. Kieran Mazzario sits on our board. He's a great addition to our board. He has some experiences and abilities that we don't have on the board already. And from REM's point of view, I think they just really like European metals as an investment, for all the reasons that we've been discussing. I think they see that they can do very well out of European metals as an investment.
Well, like you said, they've supported you, they definitely can see something. When we talked the last time, that was the question I asked you actually, if you had a free rein as a company, but again you've answered that question anyway because you've got the expertise on the board to help you if you need to go and ask the questions.
Absolutely. Through that relationship we also get to talk to people like Bacanora, who are, another step, a big step further down the path than we are in the development of their project, the Sonora project in Mexico. But, we get to be able to talk to those guys and pick their brains and understand their experiences in the space, and that's invaluable, particularly for a small company.
That's definitely all pluses, isn't it? Definitely, it is. What would you see for your company then? Short-term future plans. What would you say to shareholders who are watching this?
Okay. So as I said, if I look at the end of the year and then I come back.
Yeah.
So by the end of the year, we will have completed our preliminary feasibility study, and I believe that will show us definitively the way forward, and we'll be then going and talking to serious funders about the next stage. But if I come back from there, we'll start a new drilling program. It's scheduled to start 1st of June, give or take.
Yeah.
But that'll be a significant drilling program for us. That'll be targeting the higher grade, shallower lithium area in the north of our deposit, you know, where the lithium mineralisation outcrops at surface. So we've basically got mineralisation from surface to 200 odd metres underground, the higher grade lithium area. And we think that this is the area where we are most likely to begin operations when the time comes. So we'll start that drilling program in June, and it will run for a good 3 to 4 months. So we'll have a strong news flow for that period of time on drilling results, assay results, and a few other things which I'll mention in a moment. Part of the objective of that drilling program is to convert a significant portion of what's currently an inferred JORC resource, into the indicated category, which is obviously something we need to do as part of the PFS to improve the confidence in the deposit. We have no doubt that the numbers will come through as we anticipate, because everything we've ever done with drilling into this ore body, we get the results we anticipate getting.
It's positive, yeah.
And then alongside that, we've started our environmental impact study within the country with our Czech-based environmental consultants. That's a very important step in the process as well. So that will run for the next 6 months. You know, it's a fully fledged schedule combining the Czech standards, but also it'll be using Mercator principles as well, obviously, because you know we'll need to get our funding from the broader market. We are also conducting optimisation studies with our mining consultants on the access of the ore body, and those results will come through as well. So there's going to be quite a bit of news flow from next month on through until the conclusion of the PFS at the end of the year, and hopefully at every step we'll be just improving the confidence in the project and the likelihood of being able to develop the project.
I think what you'll do now is as well, because the way your company's going, the way the industry's going, you'll start, my opinion obviously, you'll start getting serious, maybe institution investors looking down, stuff like this as you go forward. Because as you grow, they'll want to jump on board. There's not two ways about it.
Well, there are two main factors that will drive that. And firstly, there's the macro. You know, the macro conditions for lithium companies, and obviously those conditions are in our favour.
Yeah, exactly.
So we saw Pilbara Mines, which is an Australian-based lithium development company with a spodumene deposit in my neighbourhood, you know, in Western Australia. They raised 100 million Aussie dollars last week to develop their project. So clearly that sort of money comes from institutions.
And it's not easy on the Australian market to do that either.
No,
that much money,
a fair bit of it's been done here. But the point is, so they're obviously more advanced from a production point of view than us. But as you come further up that production schedule, further up the confidence schedule, that sort of money is definitely available. So that's the first factor. It's the macro environment for lithium. The second factor is simply improving the economics of the project. So each study that you do, the scoping study to the PFS to the BFS, is designed to do just that, to improve the confidence in the economics of the project. And at those stages, institutions tend to come in. You know, they are risk adverse. They would rather come in at a higher valuation but at a more certain stage of the process. So yes, I would imagine that we will start to attract real attention from those sort of institutional investors, you know, through this period between now and the conclusion of our PFS.
Because, like you said, they'll do the due diligence, and they're looking at the exploration side of what you're doing. And then obviously when you start developing it, like you said, that's when they'll take it on board, then they'll look serious then.
Yeah, well we're really not doing any exploration now, but this is all development now.
Yeah, it's all down production now, yeah.
It's all development. We're past the exploration stage.
So, just to finish it off, if people are watching this, obviously watching your company, and like I say, I put my hands up because I talk to so many companies, obviously I'm going to watch you now, I'll make sure. But it's moving so fast. It's just moving so fast. Like I say, you went up 200%, obviously on the news and everything. So it's not false economy. It's real news.
Yeah.
But as you move on to 2017 as a company and start maturing as well, it could be quite an exciting story.
Well, I think there's two factors to consider. You're right, the share price has moved, and quite often that can be a dissuasion to people who want to get involved. They might think, well, we've missed the boat. So the real thing to look at is what is the market capitalisation versus where you're at in your project, and compare that with other comparable companies.
Yeah, your peers around you.
Yeah, that's the real measurement, not what's it done this week or last week or whatever.
Yeah.
And no share price goes up in a straight line. You know, it'll have a run, it'll consolidate, it'll have, you know, if all things going well, it'll have another run, etc. So that's one thing, you know, to consider in terms of looking at where we are now. The other thing to consider is that our overall market capitalisation right now today, you know, I haven't seen a price, but I'd imagine it's in the vicinity of probably 12 or 13 million pounds, right? Which is, as you say, it's quite a bit higher than it was when I was last here 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But the way to look at it is look at that market cap versus, you know, some of these other companies at a comparable state, or companies that are at the next stage, and work out where we might be able to go to with some of these developments that I've been suggesting we're working on.
All right. Definitely sounds positive.
Well, we're busy. We've got a lot to do. We're in a good space, and you know, we're confident that this is going to be a good year for us.
I'll just. Are you going to a show this week? I forgot about this.
I'm attending the one-to-one show at where is it, down in the city, Fenchurch, on Thursday and Friday. So this is an institutional and broker type investment show where, as the name suggests, one-to-one, you tend to have one-on-one meetings with interested and qualified investors. So that's Thursday and Friday, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm in town this week.
You're in town. All right, no, that's fantastic. Thanks very much again.
No problem, Alex. Thanks for your time.
No, you're joking. Honestly, thanks.
Cheers.
And I'm definitely keeping my eye on the ball this time. That's for sure.